Let's see. All right. Shareable link. Going to Twitter. Tweet it out. And tweet. All right. I sent the link out now.
Perfect.
Let's go to my profile and just confirm. Yeah. Big link to your, both to our
nice, dude.
YouTube, but also to your article. So we're good to go. All right. Welcome everyone to another edition of the Toxic Happy Hour. Today we have none other than Brian Harrington, an absolute Bitcoin soldier that is pushing the word of Bitcoin and its role in the economy going forward. So welcome, Brian. Happy to see you. First of all, important question. What are you drinking today?
All right, here it is. I'm drinking a Racer 5 on draft in my speakeasy downstairs called the X Pub. So awesome. I don't know, I'm a pretty poor replacement for Mr. Pub, but I'm trying to do my best bringing the draft beer.
Right, and let me guess, is this likely produced in OC or somewhere not
San Diego? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Bear Republic is San Diego. Yeah, right. Bear Republic Racer 5. I'm definitely an IPA guy. I can't really. I'm like IPAs and black coffee. Like I'm very bad at experimenting outside of both those things.
Right. Personally, IPAs get too hoppy for me. But IPA is all the craze. Everybody loves it. Also, Popload when we're doing this show. So my product placement for today is I'm having my Airborne Elderberry vitamins.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. So, awesome. Brian, again, super happy to have you here today. Please let us know. You've been very active talking about the circular economy. I follow you on social media where you're very active and have lots of great input. You've also gone to Sacramento to something political to spread the Bitcoin message. But please do tell me about the circular economy, what's going on, and what your take is.
Totally. So the silver lining of coronavirus for me has really been signaling or just kind of clarifying in my head what the Bitcoin circular economy is. Because I'm just like a lot of people on Twitter, and I'm just like a lot of people that hang out on and listen to Tales from the Crypt, and like do download Lolly, download Fold, like download all the stuff. Like I'm literally just a United States Cash App Bitcoiner. Like there's nothing special like about me in that perspective. Like I'm just like everyone else who just hangs out on Twitter, like, and is just navigating everything. So I say all that to say, I really came across this like circular economy and like being passionate about payments and passionate about small businesses and stuff really organically. Like this isn't, I don't have this like huge, crazy philosophical story all the way back to the hard fork of like, oh my God, now's the time. Like we beat them and like now we can, start the circular economy or whatever. Because I think an unfortunate part of the split was a lot of people that were more focused on kind of the like libertarian ideals of like peer-to-peer commerce, kind of got disenfranchised for like unfortunate reasons. And this isn't saying that like, I think the fork was completely positive in what happened. It showed that like the node runners really do have the like control over the network. Obviously that has to happen. And obviously saving it and hoarding it is like what makes number go up. Like I completely affirm that. And I'm not anti that. I say all that to say that like payments does not cause number to go down. Like number go down and payments are not at odds with each other. Like they're very synergistic with each other. And I'm thankful to kind of like have come to that just mental, it sounds like kind of almost too simple. Like, and why did I ever even have that mental barrier? But coronavirus has helped me do that. And the reason why it has helped me do that is because I don't appreciate the way that small businesses are being treated like in this country right now. Like, and admittedly, like I have a very like United States like focus and just perspective, like when I'm talking, but I don't appreciate the way that small businesses are being treated. And so if they're able to squeeze out any more profit margin or just any more juice around Visa and around, like, I was straight up, like, around taxes, like around whatever, like, the tools are available. And that really just clicked for me one day, where someone asked me, how does Bitcoin help me now? And I was like, I didn't just want to give my standard, like, well, it helps lower your time preference, it's savings technology, it's kind of and again, all of that's true. That's all true. But what if it was so much bigger? What if it was bigger? And what if we could actually, help our, like, countrymen and women and our fellow citizens, our fellow plebs around the world, to just be like, look, like, this matters. Like, peer-to-peer commerce can happen, and the tools are available. And that's what made me start to figure out, BTC Pay Server for myself and OpenNode for myself. And then when Jack came out with, like, the Strike app, I think is a complete game changer for this, because you're able to get involved with the Lightning Network and get involved with spending Bitcoin without touching your Hodl stack. And I don't think that's fully, like.
Can you explain that? Can you explain why that is not touching your Hodl stack?
Totally. So because Strike is, I don't know if he would describe it as this, but it's a fiat app, and I don't say that in a bad way. I say that in, like, it's very clever in the way it gets around just kind of the arguments that hodlers had, and the arguments that the arguments against spending Bitcoin because it could trigger capital gains tax, because you never actually hold Bitcoin inside the app. It's a fiat app that pays a Bitcoin invoice. So, like, you hook your bank account up to it, it pulls money in, and then if you're shopping at a merchant, you're shopping at BTC Pay Server, you're shopping at someone who's running OpenNode, you can scan that Bitcoin invoice without spending any of your Bitcoin that you have, locked away in your multi-sig, locked away in your cold storage. And so in this sense, it helps people earn Bitcoin. Like, the circular economy needs people that are earning Bitcoin. And that's the power of, BTC Pay Server and some of these other things. Really, like, BTC Pay Server combined with Strike, in my opinion, is, like, really game changer. Like, I really want to see small businesses start to understand that the tools are available, that if they want to start getting around Visa and start to get around some kind of headaches that they're dealing with, they can.
Right. So what happens in this, if I understand it correct, please correct me if I'm wrong, is the merchant gets Bitcoin this way. You don't spend your Bitcoin, it's pulled from your bank account. So you don't have that whole hassle of each little expenditure you need to do, like you have a taxable event and need to do the admin on that. But you actually this way create a small buying pressure of Bitcoin, taking Bitcoin off the market, giving it to the merchant that then may choose to either hodl it or use it for paying for bills. But I like the fact that this, for the merchant, there's no fee to Visa for accepting this money. Please explain to me after this on if whatever they have to pay to accept the Bitcoin through Strike. But
so Strike doesn't charge any fees. BTC Pay Server is completely free, and OpenNode charges 1%. That's kind of so Strike is, like, in my opinion, is like the customer app. Like, the easiest way, if you're just a coffee shop, if you're a restaurant, if you're whatever, and, like, you're looking to convert your current customers that aren't Bitcoiners yet over to paying, Strike app is 100% the best way. And that's the other thing I try to explain to Bitcoiners is that, like, look, if you already know what wallets you like and already do all this stuff, that's sweet. Like, that's great. Then you're already just kind of past Strike. But if you're a business owner that's trying to convert your customers over to paying in Bitcoin because you're trying to get around Visa or you're trying to do whatever you want, like, Strike is going to feel a lot more similar to the regular kind of Venmos and Cash Apps that they're already getting, which is super helpful.
So the merchant should have Strike to accept the payment.
The merchant should have BTC Pay Server or OpenNode. Right. They should tell all their customers about Strike.
Right. So if you want, as a merchant, you can actually combine BTC Pay Server and Strike and then have no fee. The 1% you mentioned is only if you replace the BTC Pay Server with this OpenNode.
Yep, exactly.
All right.
Yep.
Interesting. So, and what kind of pickup do you see of this in your neighborhood or in the circular economy? How difficult is it to convince merchants that this is actually better for them because they don't have to pay that 3%? And if you look in general on companies, off their revenue, how much is profit? Like 10%, maximum 20%. And so if you have 10% of your revenue and profit, but you pay 3% to Visa, that's 30% of your profit actually going to something that is already automated and digital and has no marginal cost, but just is really fleecing you of your profit.
Totally. So I've got about like 12 leads right now, and they've all come through the meetup. They've all been like, I'm not out there door knocking, just trying to, onboard random people. Like I've got about a list of about 12 people that are, and about 4 of them are already like have kind of gone over the hump and are accepting it. And then I've got kind of 8 more that I need to start working on. And so that's about where we're at. And they've all been inbound leads. Like they've all been Southern California inbound leads. Honestly, the most just like through Twitter. And so if you want to see those 4, who the 4 are, you can go to bitcoinis.com/economy. And they aren't honestly even all my businesses. Like one of them I listed on there is Primal Pastures. Like Primal Pastures, I haven't met those guys yet, but they've been running OpenNode for, almost like a year and a half. And so I'm really just trying to connect. Our meetup just had a dinner last Thursday down in Irvine, and I called it the Southern California Bitcoin Circular Economy Dinner. And we had about 50 people come out and all use BTC Pay Server to pay for the barbecue that night. And so so in that sense, like I'm really trying to create this word community kind of like gets thrown around a lot and kind of overused a lot. But that's honestly why I like the word network. Like I like how Orange County Bitcoin network, because an economy requires more than one person. So if you want to use the word network, if you want to use the word network effect, if you want to use Shelling Point, if you want to use community, like I don't really care what word you use, but it requires more than one person. And so, right. Yeah, in that sense, we were really just trying to open people's eyes to be like, look, there's other people, out here in Southern California that are doing this and engaging with this. And honestly, even since then, I've received more inbounds. And so there's definitely an appetite for it.
Yeah, right. Can you, before I go on to the next question, I just want to say we have BTC Moon Guy in the chat. I don't know if you can see it, Brian.
Yeah.
But he is a solid soldier as well, active in every single live show that we have done, which is really cool. Yeah. And he's saying to you, thanks for all your work, Brian. And also he's saying, can't see the shirt, Brian. Love it. But if you can just pull it up. I like the shirt. I've seen it. So please explain.
Yeah. So, Russell Okon came up with this shirt, and George McHale came up with it too, and they've been pumping it at the Bitcoin Is store. And so, yeah, I love it. I love the message too. Like I'm gonna wear it on. I was wearing it last night while I was watching the debates, and I'm gonna wear it on November 3rd on election night too. So November 3rd is like election day, is one of our Taco Tuesdays out in Rialto. And so if you're listening to this and in Southern California, what I'm gonna be doing on election day is eating tacos with other Bitcoiners. Like that's what I'm doing. And so wearing this shirt. So join us.
And I can see it's crossed over conservative, and then what's the next one? Progressive and libertarian. You are a Bitcoiner instead.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
So can you, for the sake of everyone, including myself, just shortly define circular economy?
Yeah. So a circular economy is an economy. As a circular system, a circular economy is one that eliminates waste. So it eliminates waste and it uses what it has. So in this sense, when we say Bitcoin circular economy, we're eliminating the waste of the United States dollar. We're eliminating government fiat currencies. And that's covered extensively on podcasts after podcasts after podcasts and on Twitter every day. And so circular economy just means closed loop system eliminating waste. And the waste we're eliminating is, the government currency and unnecessary middlemen.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so also we want to talk, I don't know, is there a little bit more you want to tell us about the OC Network Bitcoin meetup?
Yeah. So the meetup's been going on for a year and a half, and Stephen Cole started it, and you've seen him around Twitter. And we met on Bitcoin Pizza Day 2019. There were 7 of us there. and it's grown to over 400 people. I think 350 or 400 people subscribed on the actual meetup page, and it's gone from a monthly event to it's a weekly event now. So it's weekly in Anaheim, California, and then first Tuesday of every month in Rialto, California, at our taco stand that we've adopted out there. And so the thing about meetups is I just really encourage everybody to join a meetup, honestly, because like I said, the economy requires more than one person, and the network effect requires more than one person. And an example of this, even like, for example, everything I've learned about like BTC Pay Server, I had a really big breakthrough on being able to kind of even launch it and run my own server because of like meeting up with people in person. And so sometimes like Twitter doesn't fully like capture everything, or it's just slower. So when you mix in Twitter with in-person conversations, your iterations of just being able to understand Bitcoin are going to move a lot faster. Like this whole last year and a half for me has been incredible. Like May of 2019 was the first time I'd ever met any Bitcoiner in person. And so if you've never like met Bitcoiners in person, and if you have never been to a meetup, I 100%, like, I'm not being cheesy when I'm saying like definitely join one. Because and then from circular economy perspective, like it requires more than one person in order to kind of get local momentum going. So even if there's 3 or 4 of you, like here, there's gotta be 3 or 4 guys that can find each other on Twitter, find each other on Meetup, and hang out, and then red pill and orange pill bar owners all across this country. Like, and in that sense, it just truly is like a revolutionary thing. Like 3, 4, 5 guys like meeting up for drinks and just orange pilling bar owners across this entire country is like something that I honestly believe that's how we, save the United States.
Right. Yeah. I think you're right. So that tells me also, as you know, I have the Century City Bitcoin meetup, which was a lot of people coming in 2017 when the price went up. And then as the price went down, people just did not anymore want to spend that time thinking about the money they have lost, or the fiat currency they had lost, because they had gained money, right, if they bought Bitcoin. Yeah. And because I had a cost of that venue at WeWork, going to a bar, it'll be free. People will enjoy it. As long as you can find a bar that has actually not been closed down by regulation. And red pill the bar owners.
Totally.
That's a good idea.
Exactly. And like we all know, the best way to red pill bar owners is by like spending money. Like the best way to red pill bar owners is by foot traffic. Like that's how you do it. And so we're working on like our little bar here in Anaheim that we've adopted. And one of our servers, like she takes tips in Bitcoin now. And I've had a couple one-on-ones with the see you later, BTC Moon. Have a good dinner. I've had a couple one-on-ones with him, and he's open to it. He's open to it, and we just gotta keep, it's really just hand-to-hand combat. Like there's no magic pill. Like, and that's where it's like, I'm not sure it's gonna be, there's no magic bullet. Like there's no magic bullet. And I think people realize that. And so sometimes that's the other thing, that like getting out and talking to people kind of keeps me grounded on just like where we're at. And it helps me just get better about how I talk about it.
Right. So I wanna pick on pick up on the note you said about you think this is what's going to save America, Bitcoin, which I totally agree to. But I'd love if you could explain a little bit why you believe it is good for the country, why it's good for citizens that we move away from a fiat printing Federal Reserve diluting people's savings and going to Bitcoin. And so I'd love you to expand a little bit on that.
Totally. So first off, everyone needs to listen to the Tales from the Crypt today with Cynthia Lummis running for Senate in the state of Wyoming, and her talk with Marty. It's only about 30 minutes, and like she's going to be the next senator from Wyoming, and she's been a Bitcoin holder since 2013. And there's a lot of good quotes like in there, and it can give you just perspective on kind of what's happening at that level. The reason why I believe that Bitcoin is like important for the future of the United States is because like Bitcoin creatively keeps like the government in check. It aligns the incentives of citizens and their governments. And that's because right now because right now there's not aligned incentives, and we all understand that. And I'm trying. What I try to do is, I don't know. I try to not use, even as I'm using the word incentives, like I'm kind of using buzzwords. Like I really try to not use buzzwords and try to just like break it down for people simply. And it's like, look, these lockdowns would not be possible without fiat money, because the government employees continue to get paid with fiat money. The Federal Reserve prints the money and just pushes it into the system.
And who pays for that?
And yeah, we all pay for that through inflation. We all pay for that through our savings being debased and the dollar being debased. And this is where, and what's exciting, and the reason why I say to go listen to that podcast is like, it's one thing to just listen, to kind of, me and Anders and everybody just talk about it on Twitter and, about, the currencies being debased. Like, this is a future United States senator is like saying this on a public podcast that like she's concerned about how we're debasing our own currency. And so that's the thing, is that really we're all being stolen from a little bit every single day. And Bitcoin has the power to stop that. That's what it has the power to stop. And kind of on the same government thread, because it's a hot topic, some people won't like this, but I don't super think about like a 6102 like very often. And like the 6102 of the order 6102 was where the government seized all the gold and made private ownership of gold illegal, back in the day. And it's not so much saying that like, oh, they would never do that, or like, oh, it's impossible to do that. It honestly isn't one of those things. Like, it honestly is more, if we're to the point, I'm trying to be more of an optimist, and that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be focused and you shouldn't be privacy centered and you shouldn't be security minded. I'm trying to be more of an optimist in the sense of like, if we get to the point where the United States government is issuing a 6102 order and taking the private property Bitcoin keys of citizens, then like that's already just a pretty depressing day for America. Like, and I still have like, potentially naively, like I still have like kind of that hope for America that we won't see that day. And so that's, in that sense, you can paint me as naive, but I'm trying to believe in like the power of citizens and the power of people, and the power of people like, Cynthia Lummis, like to go to Washington and have them not, violate the private property rights and violate the constitutional rights of, millions of Americans. This isn't me sitting here predicting like, oh, they'll never do that. Like, that's not, I hope people don't hear my heart in me saying that. It's more like in my day-to-day life, if I could commit energy to any one thing, I want to commit energy to bar owners, like reporting less taxes and doing more business in Bitcoin. Like, that's what I want to contribute energy to. I don't want to contribute energy to thinking about potentially in XYZ number of years, a tyrannical government, issuing, a decree that private Bitcoin ownership is illegal. Because in that sense, if we get to that point, we've kind of already lost. And I really want to see Bitcoiners, like, I really love that Max Kaiser clip. Everybody should watch it, where he flips over the chair and he goes, "We make the laws now. Like, Bitcoiners make the laws now. Like, we own the politicians now." Like, I kind of more am like on that end of the spectrum of like, dude, a lot of you are savages. Like, look at Bitcoin Twitter every single day. Like, you all are like, honestly, like men and women of influence. And like, I have a lot of respect like for all of you. And I just I don't believe our country is going to get to that point, because I believe all of you are too smart. And so that's what makes me excited. That's what makes me optimistic.
Yeah. So I like that statement from Max Kaiser as well. It's Bitcoiners making the rules now. I think most people have seen Scarface, and if not, let me just repeat one of the scenes where he says, first you get the money, then you get the power, and then you get the women. So what I want to highlight here, of course, is the first two steps, that really power is derived from money, and taking that money, well, it really is fiat currency, because money is something you can store value in, and you cannot store value in fiat currency. That's the public policy of fiat currency, is that we steal some of your savings value every year. But but taking that money power out of government and really putting it in the hands of people with Bitcoin, where we get a money that has an increase in value every year instead of a decrease. That will be definitely good for the people, for humanity. And also, a lot of people are blaming capitalism for creating the wealth divide, which I feel is a shame, because the wealth divide is not created by capitalism. The wealth divide is created by the Fed actually making money artificially cheap, which means that value escapes to stocks and to real estate and other assets to avoid this dilutionary effect of fiat currency. And when value escapes to these assets, it means that when people hold assets, they get richer. So that is that artificial money that is causing that. But yeah, anyways. So you also just you released a new article on Bitcoin Magazine. Please tell us a little bit about that.
Totally, yeah. So the new Bitcoin Magazine article is titled 4 Lies About the Bitcoin Circular Economy. And it's a little bit of a snarky piece. It's a little bit of just kind of a little clickbaity. Because I've been able to do a few good interviews just talking about what I think the circular economy means. And this, the number one issue is circular economy and number go up are not at odds with each other, period. And so anyone that's telling you that if you're interested in payments, you're interested in number going down, that's fake and that's a lie. And number two, it's what are they? It's that people interested in payments don't understand the value proposition of Bitcoin. And it's and again, that's not true. That's not true. It's just because I'm leaning into a little bit more of the Bitcoin activism role of understanding that look, peer-to-peer commerce, when we talk about no third parties, we talk about no third parties. You no longer have to use third parties if you don't want. And the political implications of that and the business implications of that are honestly really, really big. And so I know we're all excited about how MicroStrategy converted their treasury holdings, and that's important, and that's an obvious step that's going to happen, and that's really cool to see. Excellent, really cool to see. And the way that sparked conversations across other big corporations, a small business flipping the switch and deciding to go Bitcoin only is almost the same equivalent. The small to medium sized business being able to say, hey, no, we take Bitcoin payments now, and we prefer Bitcoin payments now. If you want to pay in a different payment, I'm sorry, there's going to be a $10 surcharge, because we honestly can't deal with the headache anymore. Times are too tough. The economic times are too tough, and so to pay with anything besides Bitcoin, there's going to be a surcharge. I'm really sorry. That's the equivalent.
Right. And it's, why would they want to pay the 3% fee to Visa or other credit cards? You want to be compensated for that as a business owner. So I have, some of my clients, they pay with PayPal. So there's a fee using PayPal for me. And then my bank, when they accept the transfer from PayPal to my bank account, puts another $15 fee just because there's an incoming wire transfer. So it's really expensive to use the legacy system, and I can't wait to go all on Bitcoin. One thing I want to add to, you said earlier you're an optimist. I happen to be an extreme optimist myself. I usually see something positive instead of seeing something negative. And this is based on a podcast on YouTube I saw recently, and there's a lot of fear about the end of fiat currency and the whole economic situation right now, and we have to go through hell to get to a better place, because that's what they did back in the Depression in the 30s, that you have to go through that really tough period until a new money is established. And I think what I'm very optimistic about now is that the solution is already ready. Bitcoin is there. We may not have a lot of people on Bitcoin yet, but that solution is ready. And because people already now, as they start to realize that Bitcoin is a better money, can start using that and transferring to the whole Bitcoin circular economy. that will help us not having to go through hell. So I'm very optimistic about that.
I agree. I totally agree. And I don't think that's naive to like believe that. I don't. Like it just doesn't like what a time to be alive. Like I'm just thankful. Like I honestly am just really thankful. Like and that's why I'm obsessed with Bitcoin. Like that's why I think about it all the time. Like it's not and I don't look like I'm a person. Like I have like a faith background, like I believe in Jesus, like my faith is really important to me and like maybe that's where it's coming from, but I just don't like I don't understand why something like would be this important to my like brain and my heart, like if it wasn't like a really big deal. And so I don't think I don't want people to like discount like their I don't know. I don't super like the word obsession, but like I agree. I think we're living in an amazing time, and I've never. It's kind of like that. There's nothing that's proven me. There's nothing that has proven us wrong yet that this could potentially be a peaceful unwinding of a giant bad situation. Like nothing has proven that part wrong to me yet, and so I'm going to continue putting together the pieces and helping the people that I'm able to affect in my own life day to day. And this is what I want to say about this is the other reason why the circular economy thing has just like I've been able to grab a hold of it so much is because it's a way for all of us to get involved with building that optimistic outcome. You know, a lot of people talk about like, you know, I think people really are craving a way to get involved. They're hodling. Like they're hodling and they're buying Bitcoin and they're dollar cost averaging and they're buying the dips. Like that's sick. Like that's awesome.
Right.
You're creating you're creating a speculative attack on the old world, and you're like buying in with skin in the game every single day. And just imagine now you can do the same thing with your like quote unquote like spending. Like you can talk to business owners. The solution. This is what I loved. What I loved so much about what you said was that the solution is available. The solution is available. There's no reason to be depressed or be sad or think that the enemy like of freedom is like going to win because the solution is available. And so I feel the exact same way. And that's why, but that's why I'm thankful to have this circular economy stuff in my tool belt of just being like, now I can answer people that are like, well, I don't want to buy Bitcoin, but I'm willing to like earn Bitcoin. Like I heard that. I heard that from the taco shop that we onboarded. They were like, they hadn't ever super been like, oh, I want to buy it because, you know, they've got their day-to-day, you know, going on or whatever. But if 1% of their customers flip over and start paying in Bitcoin, then they're willing to hold on to it.
Right. How hard is it for a business owner to set up a BTC Pay server? What do they need? What's the requirements? Do they need a server, a computer, or what's going on?
So just like in all things Bitcoin, right? There's the slightly more difficult non-KYC way, and then there's the easier KYC way, right? And so that's the yin and yang of BTC Pay server and OpenNode. And so to get started with BTC Pay server, again, completely free for everyone, I would Google one-click Luna node install BTC Pay server. And that's how you get there. Watch those YouTube videos and read those articles. I have not done my own yet, but I followed that guide, and BTC Pins. If you go to btcpins.com, he helped me a lot. Follow that one-click Luna node BTC Pay server install.
Is that pins like this one?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Pins.
Okay, cool. I like to wear this a lot now. So I totally agree that what a time to be alive, because what we're witnessing here is a new and better money coming along and taking over from the previous currency situation. And the last time humanity saw what we're seeing now is 3,000 years ago, where the first time gold was used as payment amongst people, amongst the citizenry, was 700 BC, before the Roman Empire, at a small kingdom in Lydia, which is today's Western Turkey. Wow. And that is 3,000 years ago, imagining that we, again, after millennia, can be witness to one money coming along that is actually better and taking over from the previous money. It's just historical time to watch what is going on. And also, what I like is that this is, Bitcoin is a non-violent, peaceful revolution. We don't have to go through killing a lot of people, at top of society, like, the French Revolution. And we don't have to go through the pain of the 1930s. But we have, the means are ready. And it's a peaceful taking away power from people that shouldn't have this much power, and giving people around the world a better solution. That means that every year your savings will go up in value instead of going down. Like, to me, it's I bought into it for many years because it was the only thing we heard. Although I did have some gut feeling it was wrong that fiat currency is being diluted, but realizing that is really just a big lie and a fallacy, that we need to dilute your savings so we can keep people in jobs. I did a show on this, I think last week, about the best period of productivity growth in United States history was 20 years, from 1873 to 1892, where US and the rest of the world was on a gold standard. Gold was money. We had deflationary money. So people saw not only their salaries increase, but also that the money they got was better. And I recommend studying Jeff Booth, and he wrote a book. Deflation is the book is called The Price of Tomorrow, and it's about how deflation will create an abundant tomorrow. So, what else of topics would you like to touch upon today, Brian? I mean, it's really great having you on, and I can say that once we got Poplot in the house and he's available to join, we should definitely have you back. You guys can both enjoy your IPAs, and we'll talk Bitcoin. But what other things would you like to touch upon today?
Dude, I mean, that honestly, I really appreciate the opportunity. Like this, you really hit on everything. This isn't just coming off the top of my head like today, just for no reason. Like this, everything we hit on today about BTC Pay Server and circular economy and like meetups and revolution and all of it feeding off each other has really been the last 3 to 4 months of like my head wrestling with lockdowns and wrestling with the country and the world looking way different than it did before that. And so I in that sense, like there truly isn't really much else that's kind of in my head. Like that's really where it is.
Awesome.
Join us in Anaheim, every Thursday at 6 p.m.
Right. So I just want to say that Brian's Twitter is below in the show notes on YouTube. You'll find the link to Brian's Twitter account. He'll be tweeting out about everything going on at the OC meetup, circular economy, BTC Pay Server, how to easily as a merchant go to a solution where you do not have to give over a huge chunk of your profit to credit card companies. So please follow Brian for great input. So it's been great having you on. We're definitely going to do this again. We're going to get Poplot on. I'm sure he has also questions for you. And just have a good time talking Bitcoin.
Love it, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you. And thanks for doing the YouTube.
Absolutely. Do you have any final words you want to say, or as we're ending the show here, anything you want to highlight?
Yeah. So, I mean, on Twitter, Brian Harrington, the meetup is at ocbitcoinnetwork.com. Check out the merchants we have so far, bitcoinis.com/economy. If you want to see a demo of both BTC Pay Server and OpenOde right next to each other, you can go to brianharrington.org/xpub. Cool. Excellent. Well, Brian, thank you very much for coming on. We're definitely doing this again. It was a pleasure and very informative. Peace out. And for everyone out there, keep stacking sats.